welcome back to Conversations with
Chris
and Crystal. And today we wanted to talk a little bit about...
an incident that happened to you.
Yes, it is an incident that happened to me. We came out of an eye clinic next to a medical clinic, and what appeared to me to be a father-daughter came out of the clinic, and they didn't get very far, 10 feet away from the door, about maybe 12 feet away from me, sitting in the car, and he immediately got in front of her, and she was probably 13, 14 years old, and he grabbed her arm just above the elbow, and he hung on to her, and he was right in her face, and he was yelling at her, and it's really hot out here, so we got the windows up, can't hear a thing, and the air conditioning blasting, and she tried to get away, and he just kept hanging on to her, so that's going to be a bruise there. And then at one point, I think it went on for at least 2 or 3 minutes, and then I had to leave. And but anyway, he took his hands and pushed her against her shoulders, just pushed her. She didn't fall down, but she kept looking at the ground, and he kept, just because he was coming down at her and just yelling, and they just stood there, and I had to leave. I left. I went home. I called the police to put in a report, and they advised me that in the future, if you see something like that, to call 911. I hate to call 911. I hate bugging people. So I called the non-emergency line when I got home after being in property management, and that's what you always did. Anyway, so she said, no, you would call 911 and at the scene and let them know what you're seeing, and then you don't have to stay. You can leave, but they will send somebody over to take a look at that situation.
And why is it important to call while you're at the scene?
Because they might have a car nearby that could come right over and while it's going on. In fact, one of the questions they asked me was, what car did they get into? I said, they never left they never went to a car during the time I was there. I had a description of them, of course, and I had the time that I saw them, so my thought would be go into the clinic and find out who was just there.
Yeah.
But I don't know how some of these things work out. I don't know if, what am I trying to say? I think I watched too much CSI and NCIS. There was a blood trail.
Yeah.
When I got out of the car.
But it wasn't from them.
No, thank God. No, it wasn't from them. This was before when I first went into the eye clinic. Yeah, and I'm following this blood trail, and I'm thinking, oh, somebody must have come for emergency into the clinic, but it didn't go to the clinic. It went over to the eye clinic. Somebody's eye was bleeding. They were huge blobs.
Was it
red
red or was it brown?
It was red, reddish.
It might not have been blood then.
Okay, but it looked like it.
Because blood, when it dries, gets brown.
That's true. I think it was dry. I think it was pretty dry. Kind of dry. It was kind of reddish.
It might have been paint.
Okay. Well, I don't know about paint.
Although outside of a medical clinic,
it sort of looked, I don't know. They could have done it for Halloween. I don't know.
Tomato juice.
But anyway, yeah, I'm just becoming more observant as I watch all of these shows and the reruns of all of these shows. I can appreciate them now more than I used to. I did not know that. I did not know about calling 911 and staying there. And but you don't have to stay. You can report it and leave. But if they have a car in the area, they will go there right away.
So that's the important thing to take away from this is if you see something happen,
right,
call 911 right then, and then leave.
Yes. Let them know that you're going to go ahead and leave, but let them know what's going on. So we did that once with a drunk driver too. We were out very, very late, and we were watching this car go. We've been hit by a drunk driver before, so I was like, okay, we got a problem here. And I always wondered if somebody had called when they first saw the guy back there somewhere. It could have been avoided. So I'm watching this guy all over the place, and we kind of stayed behind him, and then we were approaching the intersection together. We were turning left, so we got in the left turn lane, and it was real dark outside, and we were at this intersection, and the guy literally just fell forward, and his car just slowly drifted into the middle of the intersection. And by this time, I'm already on the phone with 911, and they're like,
he could have had a heart attack too.
it's hard to say, yeah. So, they asked for a description. We gave them a description, and I said, no, I think you guys are in pretty good shape. He'll be here when you get here. He's in the middle of the intersection. So if you could come and check this out, and okay, we'll take care of it, But yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, we were, and that's the other thing too, is you really can't approach people safely.
That's true. You never know.
I thought about getting out of the car, in this instance in front of the clinic, and going into the clinic and asking if anybody heard, saw or was paying attention outside, or had called or anything. But I didn't think it was safe to get out of the car, because I think he was very volatile and obviously quite angry. And I mean, if you looked sideways at him, I think you would have had some issues.
It's hard to know what to do.
It is. And I know, I've worked in shopping malls where we've had people. My favorite is the guy who actually came in the clothes that he had stolen the day before out of one of the stores.
That's guts.
One of the gals told me, she said, you know what? I know who he is because he's wearing our clothes. And he sat at one of the outdoor tables there in the hallway and proceeded to fall asleep there with his head on the table. I don't know. It was a young guy. And so, again, you don't approach any of these people. You just call the police, and they will come and take care of it for you. And that's what they did. They came and woke him up and said, I think you need to be moving on. And, and then that's when malls or shopping centers or whatever will do the trespass. You get a picture of the person, you put it up, these people are no longer welcome in the mall.
Wow.
And you can have them trespass. The police will tell them you can't go back there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be a heck of a note to be barred from the mall.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't mean to.
Oh, I don't know. So there's a lot of interesting little tidbits of information. I mean, just don't let things go past you like that. Do try to communicate. It bothered me so much what I was seeing. I just had to call and report that and make sure somewhere in that world. I think what they sometimes do is if an incident happened with this man directly, they would go back and look to see if they could find any more information about whatever all happened, when it happened,
How
2
many
days
times it's been reported.
Yeah, or what's going on with it. And so there's something there anyway that could be considered.
Well, actually, that reminds me, because when I was 14, it was the first day of summer vacation, and my dad gave me this big old bear hug, and the last thing I remember is saying, "Oh, let go," I was,
Yeah.
And next thing I know, somebody's putting shoes on my feet, and I was like, "What happened?" Well, little did I know, I was unconscious, and I may have been conscious, but the memory loss from the concussion. Basically, that's what happened. I got a concussion because when he let go of me, as I found out later, I fell straight back.
Oh, wow.
Because my eyes rolled up in my head and I fell straight back. He tried to catch me, but couldn't, and I hit my head smack right onto the floor, and it was those thin tiles over the cement floor.
Ooh.
So yeah,
Ew.
they tell me that I started yelling about the bright lights or something like that. I don't even remember, because they had put me in my room, and then that's when they took me to the hospital.
That's right. You were very young.
And,
right?
I was 14.
Oh, you were 14. Oh, okay.
But I don't have any memory of that stuff. That's happened sometimes with a concussion, is you lose the memory of certain things. It happened to my dad once when he had a motorcycle accident, too. He had said things to them that he didn't remember after they took him to the hospital. Anyway, so this is all to say, so then the doctor is looking at my dad funny, and he says, "Oh, and how many times has this happened where she's fallen?" He was abusive, and that really made him mad, which I understand that, because it's like nobody wants to be accused of something they didn't do.
Right, absolutely.
So,
yeah, well, and speaking of concussions, my first car accident, I got hit from behind, and the seat broke, and I'm laying down in the car, grabbed the steering wheel to pull myself up. I always allow room between me and other cars, so I didn't hit anybody else, but I pulled off to the side. But it's like getting hit in the back of the head with a 2x4, like somebody just whack, and everything just kind of goes. And I got out of the car, and it was a young man in his dad's, sedan. He looked like he was dressed to maybe go interview for something, and I got out of the car, and I had this Calais, and it was a 2-door, and it was a accordion on the back. It was all smushed. Wow. And we get out of the car, and this kid stands there, and he goes, "Not much damage." And I'm looking at my car going, okay.
Did he mean his?
Yeah, I think he meant his. But, I mean, you're looking at an accordion, dude. And it was his fault, and they did that, and they worked with all that. But the highway helper stopped, and he's standing there looking at me like, oh, dear. Oh, he's like, "Do you need me to call?" And I said, no, I think I'm fine. And I got in the car, and I drove the rest of the way to work. I got his information, drove to work, and I couldn't hold a thought in my head for more than a minute. It would come in, and then it was gone. I was like, wait, hold on. And I called my mom, because she had been in car accidents before, and I said, okay, I know I'm supposed to do something, but I don't know what to do. And she said, okay, so you're going to call the insurance company and tell them what happened. You're going to get to a chiropractor right away. Had one right upstairs from me at the office there. And I was like, okay, that I can do. But that, and in fact, one of the guys that I worked with, I said, I can't seem to hold the thought. It won't stay in my head. He said, oh, more than usual? So helpful. So helpful.
I think part of that was shock.
It could be. It could be.
You don't have that happen every day, fortunately.
No, yes, fortunately, yes. No, and, when I went to the doctor, I did have a concussion that he was able to diagnose, and it lasted about a week.
The concussion. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I thought I don't know how long they last, but I just know that
I think everybody's different.
They tell you to watch them overnight, don't let them fall asleep or whatever.
Right.
Of course, that night I went to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But the guy asked me, they always ask you these questions like, so what day is it today?
Yeah.
And what year is it? And it was funny because, my parents, at the time we were living in Tempe, so they took me to St. Luke's Hospital. And they then transferred me by ambulance to Desert Samaritan, which was what it was at the time, to get a CAT scan. And my mom always liked to say, they looked at your brain and didn't find anything.
Yeah.
Ha ha. But on the way in the ambulance, they're like, and what time is it? And I'm thinking, later it occurred to me, how would I know?
Yeah, really? Yeah, let me check my watch here.
I guess I said, 2, and he said, pretty close.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
And then, like, who's the president? They ask you these questions because I guess it's to see if your brain is still functioning right.
Still going in the right direction. Yep.
And we're going to do another video about the effects of concussions and head injuries and traumatic brain injury.
Yes.
On people's lives and that sort of thing.
How it changes things.
In the meantime,
I would say, if you see something, say something. And like I said, I learned about the 911, calling 911 and staying there, or at least letting them know where you are, where they are, and what's going on. And then they'll come, and you can leave. You don't have to stay there. So just so people are aware of that. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So that is some of our news of the day, our thoughts, and our daily...
And our conversations.
And our conversations. Yes. So remember, take care of yourself because nobody else will. Bye for now.